Alright, good day everyone. Today I want to show you how to UV unwrap the head model we have been working on. I know I said I'd do the UV unwrapping as well as painting all in one tutorial, but I'm having slight complications with the painting right now in Blender, so I just want to show you at least how to UV unwrap it, so you guys at least know how to do that. So I'll just do that in separate tutorials, but first I want to quickly show you guys a little PowerPoint Impress slideshow I made about dynamic topology. And this is just really how powerful this is. This is all made with dynamic topology. Started with this top left figure here from Polysphere. I didn't quite like the design, so I moved and I just pushed and pulled vertices, did some drawing on it, sculpting. Ended up with this top right one here. I still didn't quite like what I had, so I reformed it. And this is all from the exact same model. I had this bottom left one here, and I quite like that design, so I just kept going with that. Add a bit more detail to it, and you can see, I added more and more here, and then I tried to retopologize it, which I did, and bake out a normal map for all the detail, but unfortunately I could not do that. Blender kept saying I had nothing to bake to, even though I had everything set up properly. So what I did is I added a quick material to this. I did a bit of compositing, and I ended up with this bottom image here. And the second one here I have, I did not do any retopologizing on this one. This is just an OpenGL, 3 OpenGL images. This one on the bottom right here is not OpenGL. That's actually, I do believe it's a Blender internal engine render. But I just started, sculpting this one day just to test out dynamic topology. And instead of painting it with UV maps, I actually use vertex colors to paint that. Might get into that some other time. And yeah, I just ended up with this, add some subsurface scattering, a little bit of compositing, and that's what it ended up being. So that is dynamic topology power. Alright, so I went ahead and just finished off this mesh retopology. I hope you did as well. That was kind of an assignment. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to quickly go to layer 2 here. You can see the high poly version. And layer 1 you can see the low poly version. Just unhide some stuff. So you can also see we have the eyes here. Let's go and move those to layer 2. So on layer 2 we have the high poly head as well as the eyes. And on layer 1 we have the low poly head. If you want to move stuff, just hit M, and then you can just click one of these. Or if you have a top row of numbers, which you should have, you just click one of those. So yeah, here's just a quick look at the topology. It's as good as I can make it for now. There are some holes. I think I have some triangles in it and whatnot. So yeah. One thing we probably should do is, before doing anything else, these are some normals here. Let's see if we actually go into perspective mode. We can go inside the mesh and you can see most of the normals are pointing the right way, but not all of them are. You just tab into edit mode, select everything, Control N, and now all the normals are pointing the right way. Sorry, and that's really important for when you're painting on a model or whatever, because that's the way that the actual faces, the color is going to show. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply this mirror modifier. I also add a subsurf to it, so it gives it a nicer look. Just smooth. Alright, and now what we're going to do is make sure we don't have any doubles. So remove doubles. If we zoom in closer, I'm not quite sure why I had these problems. I actually had a test file that has all this, but I didn't do anything with this specific one because I want to actually show you guys some of the problems you may have. Let's go back to orthopedic view. So yeah, there's some stray vertices there. You should be able to actually select the whole loop around the head like that, which is a good thing. Alright. So just quickly save that. What we're going to do is just going to select the whole loop there. Go to side view, wireframe, and box deselect about where the eye ridge is. About that far. This is just a quick way to approximate where you want your seams to be. So what we're also going to do is just quickly split this view here. Just grab your crosshair right here. So you have the little actual crosshair sign, just click and drag. And we'll make this half the UV image editor. So we can actually want view to be mode to be view here. And if we can actually mark a seam, not quite yet. What we'll do is you'll just deselect one vertex. No, wait, we need that one selected, sorry. Control E and mark seam. Select all, U, unwrap. And this is what you should get. So now you can go under U and live unwrap. And yeah, you'll see what that does. There should also be a button here which allows you to actually work on the UVs. To be able to see the UVs even when they're not selected in this view here. But let's not worry about that right now. Right, so now what we're going to do is these little ears here. Now, first of all, what we want is the ears to be disconnected from the head from when we're UV unwrapping here. And a tip I've actually read before was that when UV unwrapping, treat your mesh as if you're doing origami, which actually makes a lot of sense if you've actually done origami before. Basically, the points where you want your mesh to unfold are like the folds in a piece of origami work. Oops, extrude there by accident. U unwrap. So now you can see one of the ears there. Now we just need to do that with the other side, and yeah, this is actually quite an easy model to unwrap. Alright, so on the side here, we'll just make sure they're even. See what that's at. Let's close some of these panels. So you can see it looks like that there. There are some times, like when you have to UV unwrap something, it could take hours just because of how complex the geometry can be. But this one's really, really easy, so it's a good little practice thing there. So there we have it. We have all the seams marked. If you want to, we can actually just go deeper with this here. Mark seam, unwrap, and that just help it a little bit. Then we go under UVs, and what we're going to do is we're going to average island scale. And what that'll do is it'll make it more scale to the actual image or model over here. Pack islands, and all this does is just make sure they all fit on the island there. This little area that we have. They can be quite large actually because all we have here is the head model. So you can see, you know, they're not quite at the edge, which is good. And there's also minimize stretch, which is actually something you really would want to do, because what this does is any stretching that might occur, which is usually really, really bad to have on textures, this will actually minimize it. For this one, I don't think you really need to do that too much. Just very little, you know. Alright, so that is that. And what I'm going to do now is just go to File, Save As. Head sculpt _3. You can probably have it save that as a different type file. Reason I'm doing this is I have a file for each type of work I did. So head sculpt 1, because I have it on my head sculpt tutorial. This is basically the sculpting one. So I have different phases. That's the way I organize it. Head sculpt 1 is the sculpting. Head sculpt 2 is the retopo. Head sculpt 3 is the UV unwrapping and painting. So you can see there, we now have a better file hierarchy. So if we ever need to go back and make a change to that specific one, we can go ahead and do that without compromising the whole mesh. Alright, so now we have that in place. Let's go over to materials, add a new one. And we're going to turn specular off because we're going to make our own specular map, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to add a new texture here, image or movie. As you can see, we have nothing here. So what we're going to do is tap back to edit mode with this little UV map here. You can see we have nothing here, so let's just click new. Let's just call it head map, and 1024 by 1024 is alright. And what we can do is go to UV grid, or we can go color grid. Let's go color grid. That's pretty cool. And this will allow us to see how well we actually unwrap this. And let's just go according to the UV seams. So it's pretty decent. If you ask me, this is pretty decent. As you can see, the brown kind of represents the head area. You have forehead, and yeah, this is pretty nice. If you ask me, other people might disagree. You can see that we have a seam there, sorta. So it's kind of strange looking. Let's just hover over this at L. We can rotate it. $90 degrees there. See if that helps any. No, I think that might make it worse, so let's not do that. And yeah, so this just allows you to see what the map looks like. So let's just delete that, and we'll just create another new one. Head map color. You can spell color either way you want, depending where you live. So we have head map color there now, and this will be the color map. And what we'll just do is select that for this drop down menu here, and still have the UV coordinates. And this will be our color map, which I already said. So yeah, we'll just close that. And now we can just go into texture paint mode. Let's just minimize this. And just to get you set up for the next tutorial, let's just go under add-ons. This might take a few seconds. Under, let's see, where is it? Material, I do believe. Oh, sorry, paint. There we go. And texture paint layer manager. This is a really awesome script. It's helped me in my painting process before. I highly recommend it. Change this to GLSL. And what this will allow you to do is add different types of paint layers. So we have a color layer, a bump layer, which we will use a specular, so we can actually control how shiny we want the surface to be, whether he's like a war damaged alien or not. Specular color, so the color of the specularity. Hardness, alpha, which that's transparency. There's translucency. If you want it to emit light, diffuse, ambient. And then we have this save paint layers, so what that will do is it'll save all of these into a folder. So if I go under, let's see, head sculpt tutorial, I have this little textures folder. You can see it's empty. The smallest one has all this. The texture one though, it's empty because what this little save paint layers does is it will actually save all of those to a folder named textures. I believe it's textures. It might be materials, but I'm 99% sure it's actually textures. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So what we'll just quickly do is, before I leave you, I'll get you started on painting. Go to the UV image editor. Let's just go to head map color. And under here, this is called paint. And what we'll do is we'll do this little paint right here. Let's just add a quick color. So let's F, just like sculpting, F changes the size of the brush. Shift F changes how strong you want it to be. Let's just go all the way up. And if you have a pen tablet, these little buttons here will allow you to, it's like using Photoshop with a pen tablet. It will allow you to use pressure sensitivity. Alright, so let's just quickly paint over top of this. And you can see nothing is happening in the 3D viewport. Well, if we go back to solid viewport, you can see it actually did do something. If we actually just undo this map, you can see when we're painting on it, it works. And let's just scale down the brush. Brush might be a little slow. You can see if you paint here, it'll update in this little window here. So yeah, we can just quickly paint them a quick shade of blue, and that's just a base color. Of course, we'll do a lot more in the next tutorial. Once I figure out why it won't let me do certain paint functions. Yeah, it should just be like a simple fix. Sometimes it's just the user doing something wrong. So one thing we can also quickly do is just go under here, paint the whole thing, and then we know it's 100% covered. Alright, so what we're going to do quickly is, before I leave you, is image, save as image. And if we go under the textures folder, we can call it head map color. Of course though, this save all paint layers will actually save it for you. So if you actually just quickly do something like that, save paint layers, I do believe it should have updated this, which it did. So yeah, let's just get rid of that. And there you have it. So that is all for now. I hope that will help you get you started on UV unwrapping. I know that was quite quick, but yeah, it doesn't take too long. It's just marking seams and unwrapping. And we already have a model that can be painted on directly, like almost perfect textures too. Just basically just drawing on top of it. So in the next tutorial, I will show you, the painting techniques. We'll add a bump map to it, specular, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be awesome, and hope you check in for that. Thank you for watching.